Life is what I feel, it's what you make it. Always try to give, don't ever take it.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Glow Summit, the online green beauty, lifestyle and wellness summit to help you glow inside and out. And today I have an extremely special guest with me. I have the incredible Danielle, who is not only an incredible professional dancer, she is also an amazing social media influencer and also a businesswoman. So thank you so much for joining us, Danielle. I'm really, really honoured to have you here.
You are so welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be involved.
Yay! So I always ask this question for everybody who comes on and is interviewed by me. So what's your morning routine like?
I try to have some sort of routine because I feel the rest of my life and day, there is no routine. Like every day is different. But in the morning, if I am working just from home or I don't have to particularly get up early for a flight or anything, I always like to be up, had breakfast, showered, kind of sat at my computer by 9 a.m. So that would involve me waking up maybe 8:15. I'm not a super early riser, but naturally I wake up at about 8 o'clock, but I always set an alarm just in case. And the first thing that I do is I go and make hot water, lemon and ginger with a bit of honey. And that for me, I started doing that probably last year, and I've just noticed that in the morning, instead of a cup of coffee or tea, just sets me right for the day. I'll have that, then I'll have a shower, then I'll have some breakfast, usually something quite simple. Boiled eggs are a winner for me. And then that's kind of it. And then I'm off with my day, either if I'm going out or, like I said, sat at home working. And that is probably the only part of my entire life that actually has some sort of routine. So I try to stick to it. I do try and stick to that.
Yeah, I love that. And I completely agree with you because I'm an egg girl. It's one of my favorite foods. So I always have it in the morning. And I also started to have hot water, lemon and pink Himalayan salt recently. And for some reason, I just feel like I'm living my best life when I do that in the morning.
It just that kind of refreshes you. I find tea and coffee, I love drinking them. They're very comforting. They're for kind of when you want to sit on the sofa and you want to have a bit of time out. But actually, to get me going, I avoid all caffeine. I came off caffeine about 2 years ago because it was really affecting my anxiety. And a friend said caffeine is like the devil for people with anxiety. So, tea and coffee, and I have decaf tea and coffee, but I don't need that kind of caffeine kick that I know a lot of people need. So for me, the hot water, lemon, it kind of just gives me a bit of a zing in the morning. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I can take on the world now. I'm like ready to kind of get to it. So that's me in the mornings. I'm happy. Once I've had that, then people can talk to me. But until then, I'm like, no, nothing, I can't.
I love that. So you are an incredible professional dancer. So how did you get into dance and what do you love most about it?
Oh God, what I love most about it, I mean, for me now, I would just say the feeling I get when I am dancing. And unfortunately, over the last few years, it has become less and less, but obviously we'll kind of get onto that a little bit later. But I actually started dancing when I was about 2.5. I have an older sister. She's 3.5 years older than me, and she was going to dancing. And I think my mum basically was like, well, one's going, I'll send the other one. They can go together. And then obviously when you're 2.5 years old, you're not really dancing. You're more kind of waddling around a room. Basically, someone's just looking after you for an hour, and you're wearing ballet shoes to do so. But it just became the hobby that stuck. I've said this to so many people. Growing up, I played the flute, I played the piano, I did karate, I did gymnastics, I went to swimming lessons. I did it all. My sister and I were really lucky that our parents could send us to all of these different activities. But dancing, I don't know what it was. I just loved it. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit of a show off and I just liked having attention on it. I don't know as a kid what it was, but I just really loved it. And actually some of my best friends now are those that I went to dancing lessons with rather than those I actually went to school with, because we just clicked more. We had that kind of love and passion for dancing, and it became a real big part of my life from a very young age. And I kind of never really even second guessed what I was going to end up doing as a career, because it was like, well, obviously that's what I'm going to do. I've done it my whole life as a hobby. Why would I now not have it as a job. And I know some people to begin with were a bit like, yeah, but what's your real job going to be? Like, I actually got asked that when I was at secondary school. Because I went to quite a good secondary grammar school. You know, my sister went there as well. She's now a lawyer. Some of my friends that were from there are now surgeons. And you kind of went to the school to do that, not to be a backing dancer. And I remember when I was leaving and a girl said to me, oh, that's nice, but like, what's your real job going to be? I was like, oh, you just don't get it, but it's fine. Like, you know, she didn't mean anything negative by it. They just didn't get it. But for me, it was a no-brainer. Dancing, I just enjoy it. It makes me feel happy. It kind of makes me forget about any of the rubbish things that might be going on in life. And it just has been, it might sound really deep. I feel like it's kind of been a bit of like my savior, actually, like through growing up. And, you know, we all have to deal with things growing up, even, you know, things like going through puberty, just natural things that happen. And for me, I actually feel as though dancing really helped me kind of get through that, because it disciplined me in a way that I don't think I could have probably been disciplined any other way. And yeah, well, I'd always be really grateful for that.
Oh, that's amazing. It's so nice to hear like somebody's story and background as well. So you've performed with, I think it is off the top of my head, Justin Timberlake, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, just to name a few, which is absolutely incredible. So how did this all start out for you, and like what have been your favorite career highlights?
I mean, obviously those people that you just mentioned are definitely in the highlights. And I feel as though I need to let people know those sort of jobs are few and far between. Most of the time I've been dressed as an eyeball. No joke, I've actually been an eyeball. I've been dressed as a table. I have been dressed as like a salsa girl a number of times. The number of times I've been that red emoji girl, I've lost count. There are, you know, I've done some fashion shows in some very questionable outfits. You know, we're not talking London Fashion Week here. We're talking, you know, your local shopping centre, like fashion shows. So those are the jobs that we all kind of just would say are bread and butter. That kind of keep us grounded as well. You know, I come home and I'm like, Mum, I was an eyeball today, 15 hours. But obviously, yeah, the highlights are things like, you know, Justin Timberlake. And even if it's not necessarily an artist as incredible as someone like him, I've been fortunate to dance at places like Wembley Stadium, the O2, in Dubai. They do a yearly annual concert that's to like over 100,000 people, things like that. It's kind of just the scale of people. And even though they're not necessarily there for me personally, they're there obviously for the artist, I'm still on stage next to the artist. I still feel that kind of those screams and that energy coming from the crowd. And that for me was one thing that I was like, right, I want this feeling again. I need to keep going, keep looking for the next job. But, you know, I was doing that for like 10 years. And I definitely feel as though the first maybe 4 years was me like earning my stripes almost, you know, like doing those jobs, the eyeballs and dressing up as the random things. And before I could get to those, you know, those pinnacle like highlight, if you were. So it's been an interesting career, and one with definitely more highs than lows, like 100%, so many more highs than lows. But I feel the lows, as it were, kept me grounded. I'd like to think anyway, they've kind of kept me grounded.
Yeah, I completely kind of see what what you mean from the eyeballs. That would be an interesting day.
That's the one day you're doing that, the next day you're literally on set with Katy Perry and she's talking to you about your shoes. You get kind of an out-of-body experience and you're like, is this really happening today? And was that really happening yesterday? Like, you couldn't make this stuff up. Like, I'm going to have a great book in a few years, I'll tell you that. Some of the stories and things that I kind of experienced throughout my dance career. Something to tell the grandkids, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So you trained at the English National Ballet, right? And do you feel like it was a fairly straight line then in terms of you kind of graduating from there and going straight into dance? Or was there like some twists and turns where you had to do some other things, or how did it all work out?
I mean, the twists and turns, I'm very familiar with the odd twist and turn, especially in that kind of transitional phase. So, I mean, growing up, out of all the dance styles that I did, and I did, you know, tap, ballet, modern, jazz, kind of street jazz, contemporary, all these different styles. ballet was my strongest. I was the ballet girl. My physique has always been kind of quite suited to doing ballet, and people just said, "Oh, you're gonna do ballet. Out of any sort of dancing, you'll do ballet." So then I went to EMB, which is a very, very prestigious ballet school. You know, that and the Royal Ballet are kind of top of their game. And I actually, unfortunately, got injured in my first year. To cut a long story short, I've got a small hole in my ankle bone that's always been there and will always be there. I could have it filled with cartilage, but that, you know, long. And I basically had to step back from dancing probably in the February until the July of my first year. So I only really did half of my first year. Rehabbed myself. I had to have an injection in my ankle. It was all very complicated. And I rehabbed myself, and I got back into my second year pretty much at 90% of kind of full fitness again. And during my second year, I realised that actually what I'd been through, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally, I had lost a bit of my passion for ballet. I'd realised actually what I was putting my body through. And at this point, I was 17. And it was a lot to take on. I mean, I only kind of really looked back in the last few years and was like, God, I really dealt with quite a lot of rubbish when I was just 17. Like, that is so young. And I basically turned around to my parents one day and said, I am coming up to my graduation in July, because it was a 2-year course at EMB. Coming up to my graduation, I don't think I want to do ballet. I want to be a backing dancer. To which my mum was like, okay, cool. My dad was like, no. So I was like, sorry, what? No, like you've put too much into this. And I totally understand. I would say exactly the same thing as my dad said to me if I had a child. But, you know, I think my mum there was obviously the reasoning one, and said, you know, let her just go and figure it out. And I've since found out that they had a conversation, and my dad said, I think that she'll be working in a supermarket within 6 months because it won't work. She won't be able to do it. But he never said that to me. And actually, I think the fact that they never said that to me played a big part in the fact they just kind of were like, go off and do it. We're not going to put you down. My dad obviously took a while to get on board, but they weren't going to put me down for it. They were like, okay, good luck. And I literally like, good luck, because they were like, we can't help you. And from then I kind of, something clicked in my brain, and I thought, I need to make this work. Like, I have decided I don't want to do ballet, which has been a big part of my life. I still want to dance. I need to make this happen. And I knew a girl at the time who was dancing for Blue. And they were doing Top of the Pops and things like that when they were still around, CD UK, all of that. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to do backing dance. And it seems way much more fun. But obviously I'd done ballet for like 2 years straight, and I was so upright and everything was so balletic. I did not know where to start. And so I started going to Pineapple Dance Studios in Covent Garden in London. And I did so many different classes. Like, that was my new school, basically. But it's a drop-in, so you just pay, do the class that you want. It's open, anyone, all ages, all backgrounds can do the classes. No sort of kind of audition process. And that basically was my training into the commercial world. But also at the same time, I was still trying to get these jobs, but also still learn that craft and that style of dance. So it was a tough kind of transition time for me, because a lot of other people, I was surrounded by people that had trained in those styles at college, then graduated and were looking for jobs. I trained in something completely different, but then was trying to do the same as them and go for these jobs. But they'd had 2-3 years of it, or like training already. But I mean, I did it. I kind of just stuck to it and kind of just put my blinkers on. I was like, no, I know if I want something enough and I work hard enough, I can get it. But it was about, so I graduated in 2006, and I would say my first proper commercial dancing job was February 2008. So there was a while, it was, you know, a year and a half there that I was not really doing anything, and I was training myself up. Fortunately, I was still living at home, so I didn't really have any outgoings. And yeah, that was kind of a lot for me to do. But from February 2008, I kind of feel like I didn't really look back, because once you get one job, then you're like, it obviously gives you a confidence boost. And it's actually, I've kind of taken that, tried to set that mentality on now in everything I do, and I've done since then. You know, things aren't going to happen overnight. You know, you'll know this, building your business, it doesn't happen overnight. And you see all these books, how to become an overnight success, and you read them and, you know, they're great, but the truth is, it doesn't happen. And that's kind of what a lot of people ask me now, how did you do it? And I'm like, it was really tough. It was really hard work. But I do believe if you want something enough and you're willing to put in the work, then it can happen. And fortunately, it paid off for me. But yeah, it definitely had its twists and turns, and uneasy times during.
Yeah. That's so interesting. And I love hearing about people's backgrounds, because it's just really inspiring, especially when, say, like, for example, if you're having a tough day, then you hear how somebody who is at another level to you has like been through that rubbish side and it's all been a bit shit. And then they've kind of come out and like stuck to their guns and focused, and it has worked out. And I think, like, we'll go on to, like, I've got a couple of questions about some advice and things, but I really feel like that's such great advice that you're giving, that it is a bit hard and you do have to just keep going through it. Because like, I know we're meant to be talking about moving, but we're just off on a side tangent here. With all the business stuff, say, for example, or anything in life, there's so many people saying, oh, you don't have to work hard for this. Like, it's easy, just like do X, Y, Z, or follow my path. And it's like, it's all a load of BS. Like, you do really have to work hard. And like, your mindset is like so important as well. So I did want to ask you about mindset, actually, just because not only in say the exercise space, but with what you've done and with what you've achieved, like, I feel like mindset's such an important part of it. So I guess my first question is, you've mentioned at the beginning of the interview just about how exercise and dance really helps your mindset. So if you could talk a little bit more about that, that would be awesome. And then also, like, how you've used your mindset to like achieve everything you have now. If you could talk a bit about that as well, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I do talk quite a lot about how exercise has helped me in terms of mental health, and I still think there's a little bit of a stigma with the words mental health, and people put such a negative thing on it, and it actually is a very positive thing. You know, the same way we look after our kind of bodily health and just health in general, mental health is just as important. And I didn't realize how much exercise and being active helped me mentally until I went through a phase of not doing so much exercise because social media took over. And I then had my second transition kind of career phase from dancing to more what I'm doing now, which is obviously a lot more focused in social media. And, you know, kind of like what we were just saying, you do have to focus on it and work hard. And I thought, in me focusing on purely on social media and creating content, not really exercising, that was me being able to get that done. And I then quickly learned that actually the exercise part of my life is what keeps me sane. It's not just a job. It was a job, obviously, to begin with, but I also didn't realize in it being a job, I was also helping my mental state, because, well, that was my job and I did that anyway. And then I stopped, and it was actually my boyfriend at the time a couple of years ago, and he said, you're not okay, and you haven't exercised, you haven't done anything for, I think it was maybe like 6 weeks, hadn't done a single class, hadn't done a workout, hadn't even been for a walk, because I was so focused what I was doing. And the following week I booked myself in, I think, for like 3 classes spread throughout the week. I went out for walks with my mum, and I just kind of, I put a bit more time, and I was a bit selfish, put more time into me. And selfish, again, is another word that is seen as negative, and it's really not. Like, be selfish. No one else will care more about you than you. Like, take that time, be a little bit selfish. And after doing that, I just, all of a sudden, my mind was clear, and I could put better work into the social media side that I was focusing on as well. It kind of helped clear the kind of cloud that was in my mind, and actually enabled me to focus on what I was trying to focus on the whole time. Wasn't really getting anywhere with it, because I wasn't exercising. My mental state was not in a great place. And basically I was just going round and round. Like, I was just like a hamster wheel, not ever really getting anywhere, until I kind of jumped off the hamster wheel and was like, let me just take a walk around the cage for a bit. Let me try this for a little bit and then I'll be fine. So that kind of, for me, is how I learned that exercise is very, very beneficial for my mental health. And, you know, I've spoken to people and they deal with it, you know, through other things. Some people are like, oh, I went through a breakup and so then I just exercised loads, you know, the whole heartbreak thing, or I'll show him, I'll show her, I'm going to get really fit. Other people have maybe had family issues or lost a job and they've actually got more time on their hands. They realise actually it kind of helps them mentally. So that for me is kind of why I don't want to use the word preach, but why I do kind of stress a lot that the exercise for me actually isn't about the aesthetics. Yes, it's a bonus that it keeps me looking the way that I like to see when I look in the mirror, but that's like the last on my list. That is the least important bit to me. For me, it keeps me like good in here, and it enables me to then kind of carry on and kind of function. So that was like, I feel like that's the first part you asked me, and then I can't remember what the second part was that you asked me.
So how your mindset has kind of helped you achieve everything that you've wanted to.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that kind of maybe have already kind of spoken about that. Yeah, it just literally keeps my mind clear. And I think it is something that's a little bit tricky to explain unless you've actually maybe experienced it as well. Or, you know, for some people it might not be exercise, it might be sewing, or, you know, like something else, but kind of find your thing that releases your mind, because we all have those moments where we're like, I feel like I've got a pressure on my brain, my mind, life. And for me, exercise was just the way to kind of almost make me feel as though I'm like running through a field and like with literally not a care in the world. And I get out the other end and I'm like, I can take on anything now. That's how I feel. That's how exercise makes me feel.
Yeah, it's kind of like a meditation, isn't it? Like depending on like where you are with that sort of thing. Like I love meditation, but then I also love exercise because they kind of give me the same feeling.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I have tried meditating and I need to work on it a little bit. I'm not good at clearing thoughts out of my mind by doing nothing. Because obviously you're meant to, you know, if thought comes in, just let it pass, keep your mind clear, which is why working out is better, because I actually need to almost be distracted. And, you know, I do a lot of boxing classes and a lot of it is kind of stuff you're doing that actually I've got to focus so much on the task at hand, which at the time is boxing, that I almost can't think about any of those other thoughts. Whereas, yeah, I guess meditating is the same thing. You're focusing almost on nothing, so those thoughts don't come in. So it's, yeah, exactly what you said. There is a similarity there between kind of meditating and exercising. And for me, exercise, I just prefer that way, I think, of keeping my mind clear.
Yeah, definitely. So for anybody who is watching who's really, really struggling with motivation in terms of exercise, can you give any top tips for them to kind of like help kickstart it?
Yeah, this is probably a question I get asked like most. And I know why. Like I can totally see why, because motivation is one of the hardest things to get. And I mean, really, I can't make people exercise. And that's what I always say when, you know, girls message me, oh, can you help motivate me? Ultimately, I can't make anyone, I can't make yourself, I can't make anyone around me actually work out unless they want to. However, things that help me and that motivate me are, like what we just said, knowing that it's going to give me mental clarity and it's actually going to help me perform better in other aspects of my life. My friendships are stronger. I have a better relationship with my family because I'm not so snappy. You know, it improves my moods. I want to eat better, which also obviously then improves just how I'm feeling. I'm not feeling sluggish. So that kind of motivates me. I'm like, right, I need to stick at this because I'm in a good place. So that for me is motivation. But then I know some people, you know, are obsessed with the Victoria's Secret models. So they're like, well, I'm going to work out because I want to look like her. Yeah, absolutely. If that is your motivation, and kind of like what we were saying before, when we're talking about, you know, people who've gone through breakups, if that's your motivation. But I think it is different for everyone. But like they say, I think a habit takes 21 days to either kick or to stick. And if you can just aim for that 21 days or, you know, of doing something, and it doesn't have to be a lot every day. I'm not saying that you've got to work out for 2 hours a day. They actually say that really you only have to do 15 minutes of some sort of HIIT workout a day, which is nothing. I mean, we've been already recording this for however long, you know, like we could have done it 3 times over already. And I think being able to break it down and not think about the long-term goal, I think that people find that quite daunting. If it's to do with a weight loss or a target or a goal, it can be quite a lot. Oh, I want to lose so much, I want to fit into that dress by then. That's a lot of pressure. Like, break it down into smaller bits and be like, I just want to this week have done 2 classes. Okay, so let's start with this week. Like, make your goals shorter term and just do a lot of them, rather than having one ginormous, overwhelming, huge goal that you just feel like you don't even know where to start. That's what I say anyway to anyone that I train, because I'm a PT as well. So anyone that I'm kind of working with, I'm like, cool, you want to get to there, we'll do it. But for now, let's focus on the here and now and this week or this month. And I would offer that as advice to anyone that's feeling a little bit lost in terms of motivation and knowing where to start. Like, take your goals from being this big, maybe just to here, and stack up a few, you know. So yeah, that's probably what I would give.
I love that. And I remember reading or watching Jim Rohn once. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's like kind of a motivational speaker. And he always said that motivation is like bathing. It doesn't last, so you have to do it every day. And I think that's when, like you mentioned before, if you can find your why, then it makes like the motivation a lot easier. Therefore, it makes the exercise a lot easier, because you're like, well, I know what I'm doing and I know why I'm doing it, so I'm going to go and do it. So,
exactly, 100%.
So with that and that little bit of life advice, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given and that you'd like to share? Now, it can be in relation to exercise, or it can be life in general, but I just love to ask this question because I think the people that I interview, and everybody has such different and amazing life advice, so it's something fun to ask.
I have been brought up to practice what I preach. Yeah. And I think if you practice what you preach, you'll never get caught out for lying. You'll never get told off for misleading people, especially in society today with social media and people saying, oh, do this, but I don't do that. Or, you know, oh, you should buy this, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm only going to promote it if I get it for free. Or, you know, things like that. Practice what you preach, and you will be taken a lot more seriously. People will invest in you as a person and believe in you, and don't try and be someone else. Don't try and be a copy of someone else, because you're not going to do it as well as they are. You know, you're just not. So yeah, so practice what you preach, I think, is probably one of the best. And I've been given a lot of advice in my life, some of which I haven't listened to, so then backfired on me, you know. But one thing that I have always said, and my parents always kind of said, you know, practice what you preach, but believe in what you say, and other people will believe in you when you say it.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. So, and it says a lot about you as a person as well when you hear what like advice that people give. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Danielle Pisa method, because you created this, and I feel like this is like a whole other side to you, which is just super successful and it's really amazing. It's helping so many people. So can you explain a little bit more about it for me?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, we've spoken obviously loads about exercise and classes that I do, and there are a few that I really enjoy. But I noticed that actually the sort of classes I really wanted weren't available in London for me to actually go and do. And that is my 5-year kind of goal plan, to have a studio where I've got classes of my own going on. But obviously, having the presence that I do online, I thought, right, this is my space. Let me put this method into action. And I wanted to create something based on kind of what I was saying, practicing what I preach. Like, I know dancing. Like, I'm like, come at me with your dancing dilemmas. come at me with any of your dancing trivia or questions, or how to, you know, the training that I did, the roller coaster of the career that I had, like, come at me, because that I know that. I don't know CrossFit, I don't really know weightlifting, dancing, I know. I've got that nailed. And I just thought, well, hang on then, if I know that so well, why would I not focus on that as a form of working out? Because trust me, dancing is a workout. You know, as a lot of people are like, oh, but don't you just dance, you just dress pretty and you just, you know, do a little bit of dancing. And I'm like, cool, you try doing 16 numbers in a 2-hour show back to back with 7 costume changes and tell me that you're not knackered at the end. I'm like, cool, yeah, it's just a little dance apparently. So, you know, me and all my dancing friends, you know, we all, you know, work out in the sense of dancing. And I just thought, like, people always say to us, oh, you look great, and, you know, obviously you've got such great rhythm and all of this stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, it's kind of my job to, but actually there's no reason why other people can't train in a similar way. I'm not saying I can turn you into a backing dancer for Justin Timberlake. I am not promising that. But what I am saying is I can show you how I trained as a dancer throughout my career. And that incorporates, you know, toning my body and kind of sculpting it, building up my stamina and doing a lot of cardio. And then also obviously the dance style that, as well, you know, just naturally knowing how my body flows. I'm very responsive to my body movements. I know exactly if I angle my hips one way, what it's going to look like. And I've trained my brain to kind of know that. And I thought people would enjoy that if they could do it, because everyone has danced at some point, even if it's after a few G&Ts at a wedding. We've all danced and we've all been happy when we're dancing. No one is sad when they're having a little dance, because you wouldn't dance if you were sad. You'd just sit in the corner. So I thought, well, I want to put a real good positive spin on exercising. I think some people can feel as though exercising is such a chore, a real kind of, oh, I've got to do my workout today, rather than I'm excited to put on some music and have a little go today, you know, get a bit of exercise done, you know, work up a sweat. I want people to kind of really like relish exercising and moving and appreciating their body and loving their body for what it does, and not exercising purely to burn calories or lose weight. You know, there's so many machines now that tell you how many calories you're burning. And I think in some ways of working out that is maybe necessary. But actually, I think where I've come from, and this goes back to the mental health and my reasons for exercising, it's never had anything to do with calories and or you know, weight loss or fat loss or anything like that. Exercise, enjoy it. You'll help your mind, and actually, you will end up helping your body as well. And I just really wanted to package that up and be able to share that with other people. And the response I've had so far has been incredible. And you know, I've been invited to teach at events. I was actually teaching at an event yesterday for Fern Cotton, the TV presenter. She wrote a book called Happy, which is about her happy place and finding her happiness, turned it into a podcast, then turned it into a happy live event where people go, and they did one of my dance workouts. There was like a yoga workshop, a cooking bit with someone from Great British Bake Off, and it was all about that positivity and feeling good. And I'm like, this is what the world needs a little bit more of, I think. Where we are at the minute, we just need positivity and happiness, and for people to know that they can own their own happiness and really take charge of it and do things that they enjoy. And that's basically why I wanted to create the method for people that know that they should exercise. We should all exercise, we should all move, but maybe don't really know how to approach it, and also get a little bit intimidated by some of the other things that are on offer at classes or in gyms. You know, I've spoken to so many people, they're like, oh, I could never go into a gym. I would never walk into a gym, but I really want to work out, but I just couldn't. I'm like, okay, well, open your laptop, get your phone out, go onto my YouTube, in your bedroom, no one even has to see you, and we'll have a good time, just you and me, you know, just working out. I'll be on screen, you copy me, cool, you're done. That's, you know, I want people to feel good about themselves and enjoy it in the process.
I love that, because I think that you mentioned it just before, but a lot of people use the gym or use exercise as punishment for their bodies and to look a certain way. And it's like, you've got to think about it in terms of longevity. Like, the more you exercise, or you find something that you love about exercise, and the more you do it, means you're helping your health in the long run. You're going to be fitter when you're older, you're going to live longer, you're going to be able to keep up with your kids and all that jazz. So it's just so important. And I think that's why I love what you do so much, because it's not about punishing your body, it's about just having a bit of fun and giving it a go. And that's everything that kind of you talk about, and from what I can see, the Danielle Pisa method is. So I think that's really exciting, and I just have to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
No problem.
I feel like it's going to be like a slow burner, and I'm okay with that, because I would rather, like what we said earlier, it doesn't happen overnight. Take my time, build something the right way, rather than boom, this is what I'm doing, and trying to please the masses like straight away, but actually not having any sort of substance. Really kind of getting my message out there, just chipping away, just it's there, it's happening, I'm still doing it, you know, and when it's ready, and then I'll go full throttle. But for me, yeah, if I can help, you know, and I know that I have helped more than just one person, but even if I could just help just one person, I'm happy, you know.
Yeah. I love that. So I always ask this question as well. So what is the one thing that you wish more people knew about exercise?
Oh, what's the one thing I wish more people knew about exercise? That it doesn't have to be ruthless, that you can enjoy it. I mean, I wish people knew that. I would say that it doesn't have to be a chore.
Yep.
You
I
know,
love
when
that.
it comes to exercise, it doesn't have to be a chore. Basically, that I wish more people knew that, because that turns a lot of people off doing it, including me back in the past. Oh God, no, I can't. Well, I'm not doing the right thing then. Don't do it. If you feel like that, don't do it. Find something you enjoy doing. Why would you spend £20 on a class, or, you know, take up an hour of your day? You only got 24 in a day, so why are you wasting one of them doing something that you don't enjoy? Find something that you do enjoy, that is still moving, but do that instead. It sounds really simple, but obviously I know a lot of people maybe do struggle with finding what to, you know, what they want to do. But yeah, I'd say it doesn't have to be a chore.
Yeah, I love that. So what are the plans for the future, and where can people find you if they would like to know more?
Well, I mean, you can find me all over social media. I'm at Danielle Pisa on Twitter and on Instagram. I've got my Danielle Pisa Method Instagram page as well, which is a lot more focused on workouts. A few foodie posts, a few like inspo picture posts of other like great fit girls that I've seen, and I'm like, yeah, I want to share what she's about. You know, she looks like she's having a great time and feeling fab. So I've got Danielle Pisa Method page as well. I'm also on Facebook, which is official DCP. Facebook.com/official DCP. And then obviously I've got my website, daniellepisa.com, which is basically a hub of everything I do just on my website. So you can go there for videos. You can sign up to the newsletter, because there's a blog on there as well. So then you'll get just weekly updates, and not going to spam anyone's inbox. And also, if you sign up, there are some videos on my website that are like members only. So there are some workouts on there aren't on YouTube, so you can kind of get access to these kind of exclusive workouts, but it's free to sign up, and I do some pretty cool giveaways as well, so you know, you might win a few bits, so that's always a bonus. I always sign up if I think I might win something. So that is where you can find me, and I would just say for the future, I'm really on a mission to kind of focus on myself and make sure that I'm proud of what I'm doing, and that I'm doing it for me, not because I feel as though society tells me I should be doing something. Obviously continue to grow my brand and grow the method side, collaborate with more people. I'm potentially going to be holding some of my own kind of workshop event kind of type things, either at the end of this year or at the beginning of next year, TBC. But that's something that I'm kind of doing in the background as well, but with some other really, really cool body positive, happiness kind of people that are out there. We kind of created a little gang, as it were, and are like, hang on, you're about that, I'm about that, should we make it about that and do something? So that's kind of happening, and yeah, that's going. And then just to continue working with some of the brands that I feel like I've been so fortunate to work with. You know, I work a lot with Reebok, who are, you know, one of the biggest sports brands in the world. They get me, they get what I'm about. You know, and then just other beauty brands. I work a lot with Clinique, who again are just about feeling good in your skin. Like, just brands that resonate well with me, and ultimately that resonate with people that listen to what I say, because I don't take it lightly that, you know, I have this sense of responsibility in the online world. I do take it seriously. I mean, I want to have fun with it, but I take it seriously, and I know that what I say can carry some weight, and I want to, you know, keep the standard high for if people are listening to me and being influenced by me, because apparently that's what I am, an influencer. Whether you love it or hate the word, that is what the umbrella that I fall under. So I want to kind of influence in the right way for the right reasons.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I just wanted to say again, thank you so much for taking time out of your ridiculously busy schedule. I know that with your businesses and with social media and then with dancing and just everything, you must be the world's busiest person. It's insane. So thank you so much again. And thank you everyone so much for watching. And don't forget to come on over to the Facebook page, which is The Glow Getter, and leave a comment and let us know what you took away from this interview. And we will see you for the next video.